like to invite Dr. Kaleemullah Lashari to talk about tourism potential in Sindh and policy after devolution.
हमारे मोहतरम दोस्त स्टेज पे तशरीफ रखे हैं हमारे साथ। ख़वातीन व हज़रात, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आज की नशस्त खुसूसी तौर पे एक बहुत ही अहमियत की हामिल इसलिए भी है कि इस साल जो टूरिज़म के दिन मनाने के लिए वी आर गैदर्ड हियर is very important. It is related to the more human issues. It is addressing this very soft side of society, and it is a reminder for us to count today all those who are part and parcel of our society, but they are not as lucky and fortunate to have all the advantages to enjoy the tourism. Tourism, when we try to define tourism, it is something coming from the very olden times. Human beings are by compulsion travelers. The prehistoric men had to travel. And those human beings were compelled to run around in search of food, to move and shift from place to place in search of security and safety. And then there was another part of human life, that was the superstition. That was the base from where emerged the world's greatest religions. And this was one part which also compelled human beings to go ahead for the pilgrims so that they could find some sort of solace, some sort of success, some sort of support from the supernatural world. So the basis of tourism comes from the antiquity that has the evidence within the archaeological evidence, and also when we move around within the old places of pilgrims like 𝐒𝐄𝐀𝐒, like 𝐒𝐚𝐥𝐸, they tell us about the greatest antiquity of the people trying to reach those destinations in those days when it was quite difficult to move. And if any of us has happened to have gone to that part of Balochistan, they would exactly remember how difficult it is to move, and if all of a sudden they find their vehicle out of Agra, so what will happen? Such a desolate place, where the distance is you won't find water, nobody is moving around, only few stray birds might be flying over your head. So try to remember and imagine that the person in antiquity undertook all those troubles to visit that place. So this is something which is in the nature of human beings, that it compels them to go around and about and try to find out something, to learn something new, and to experience those particular sort of spatial feelings which have been associated with those things. So the tourism is within the nature and roots of human beings. And then if we look into the historic references, we know by large that the father of history, Herodotus, refers to the expedition of 𝐒𝐶𝐾𝐒. The gentleman was moving right, sailing in the Indus, comes to Arabian Sea, moves and goes up to the Egypt. And his exploits have been written in various old ancient books to which we have the references, but unfortunately those books are not with us. Remember, this is the time 530 BC. The 𝐒𝐄𝐀𝐒 comes down the river Kabul, sails down the Indus, and then he moves on. What was this? It was search for knowledge. It was search for learning. And it was greatest adventure, the first ever adventure which has been recorded in the history. And it was happening right through here, nearby Karachi. And then we do know that there are those people especially whose accounts are fortunately saved. Ibn Battuta, coming out of Marrakesh, the Morocco, and he is one of those Moors who happen to have come to this part of the world as well. 14th century, visiting places and writing regarding his experiences. And while he was there for 20 long years, he came out of home, and then he was lucky enough and alive to return back home and see his grandchildren there. There's one famous figure. The travels of Marco Polo are presently the special topic of research within the European universities. There has been a debate considerably that whether such a character existed or not. But the new scholarship has established that the travels which he recounts are authentic, more or less, and his presence cannot be denied. Because at that time, there were not many people lucky enough to have come down to this far from the Europe. So anybody could not possibly imagine the character of the people here, the area here, and things which were happening around here. So his work has been now elevated to such heights of the travel literature, which is another asset in understanding the nature and cause behind the popularity of tourism within the modern world. And then starts the religious tourism. There are people who are coming out just to convert the other people, the Christian missionaries. The Portuguese were first to come around here, and they spread over the subcontinent. And they were another connection for these people to Europe. Europe at that time was much progressing because they have come out of Renaissance. They have already achieved whatever has been achieved within the classical times. They had their roots deeply put into the rich Greek classical achievements and the wide development within the Roman Empire. So the Europe was flourishing at that time. And all this knowledge was tripping us here within this society, which was really exclusively cut off from all those classical levels, because they had forgotten to remember what Al-Biruni had said. They were away from the findings the 𝐒𝐤𝐴𝐚 had made. So this society here was totally cut off from its classical roots. But these were the Portuguese. They started coming down here, spread over to the subcontinent. It was the Catholicism which was coming up very well within the leaps and bounds of subcontinent India. And then another breed of Europeans were here. They came in satisfaction of their yearning for knowledge, So these explorers were traveling, but they were traveling with a special purpose. They were traveling with an assignment, that they're trying to understand certain special phenomena which was taking place here. So it was for them overall sort of investigation, and interaction with the locals was inevitable, and then whatever they found here, they lucky are us that they have left behind certain very good accounts of this particular adventure they carried. This was a new happening, that the world of sail was replaced by steam. The human beings found the power of steam and utilized it into the shipping. This opened up real world of tourism. So if there is any basis for the modern tourism, you can find it within the steam shipping. It was the industry which opened up all these continents for the travelers. And this gave the opportunity to everyone, whether they were physically adventurous or not, but they can still travel in luxury. The ships, initially of smaller tonnage, like 5,000 tons, they grew into 19,000 ton ships, taking only the travelers to the destinations. And these people were traveling in style. Look at the menu, the breakfast, the lunch, the afternoon tea and the dinner, and the ball, the dances, the entertainment, the music. Everything was happening on the ships. And here was the tourism adapting to a new style. And this gave them real high-pitched thing, that even the morning tea was replaced by just a glass of some good drink. And this was happening on ships. And this opened up the way for another new destinations, say East Indies, West Indies, and whatnot. What was the place these ships were not going? If we look at the archives of shipping, we find that there has been so much new destinations added into the vocabulary of travel. That is an amazing amount of expansion of tourism which happened in the 19th century. And even a new continent was being established, and the people went there not only to settle down, but initially it was the tour which brought them there. And they were looking forward to have the new experience, and if they found the conditions conducive, they could even settle down. So the Australia, New Zealand and the Pacific Islands were largely established because of the tourism. So you see, the tourism has been caused to establish a new whole continent to come into a civilization of the modern world. And what is the definition of tourism? What tourism actually is the basic question. Because we are in Pakistan ailing from this, that our tourism is not totally up to its potential. We are the first country to utilize the best ever material which is available with us. And why? Because something is wrong somewhere. Because we cannot make 2 and 2 to be 4. There is always something which is misleading us within our actions or within our own ideas. So if we look at the simple definition of tourism, it is the activity of traveling to a place for pleasure, the simplest possible. And it is the another part to it, that says the business of providing hotels, restaurants, entertainment, etc. for people who are traveling. So this is the simplest possible thing we can make out of traveling. But we can define tourism a bit more technically, and that says traveling for recreation, not for pleasure only. It's not restricting us to one part of the activity, that's the pleasure. Here it is recreation. Recreation means you don't have the limits now here. It can be the intellectual challenge which you may be receiving. It may be some spiritual experience you are going to see and undergo. It may be anything which recreates you, which gives you the jubilancy, which gives you the energy, which actually gives you the strength to look forward and go further. Then there is the guidance of management of tourists. So this is the part of tourism itself, because you see now it is opening up its technical aspects and giving us the understanding that tourism won't increase here until and unless you understand that they have to have guidance available for those who are seeking visit, and then the management of those who are coming around. And then there has to be some mechanism within which encourages, which catapults the whole activity. Without it, nothing is happening. And then the accommodation of tourism. If somebody has arrived at Murray and at the fake end of day, he is trying to sleep somewhere and he doesn't find a place to go. So what will happen? This is the very culmination of all the initiatives. Because at the end of the day you are tired. It is your natural right to go to sleep, and go to sleep in certain amount of decency. The tourism is always related to the interaction of people. It is related to the politics. It is related to the larger, bigger events which are taking place. First World War, Second World War are such events which actually transform the whole world. It's changed the complete shape of tourism. It brought in new standards and values. So it happens that the international events are profoundly affecting the shape and the fate of tourism. Now look, 9/11, what happens? The whole world comes to stand still for a while. New values are born. Now new destinations. The old destinations are just cut for the reason that there happened single event which changed the psyche of things, which changed the complexion of things. But something good happens. There is ray of hope, and you see that 2011 you have a tremendous increase again into the tourism. More than $1 trillion is infused in the industry. How much is the earning? Single year. But then again, something happens. IS. And it has again checked the thing, checked the whole progress. But you see, 2012, we have globally crossed the mark of 1 billion. 1 billion tourists coming out of their homes, visiting and going back. What a figure! Every seventh person on the earth becomes the tourist. So you see, there is lots of potential. Even if we are failing at certain things, but the tourism itself has the opening, it has the potential, it grows, and it is growing. And you see, China has emerged as the largest tourism marketer. It is followed by the Russia and the Brazil. The economies are getting powerful and more people are coming out of these countries to go. We have heard that tourism is an industry. Why tourism is an industry? It is the highest and ultimate where one can reach. So this is the best ever where the humanity likes to go. And cities for all. The elite, the officials, the business community, the enlightened middle class, the students, the wage earners, labor. But there are physically challenged people as well. Do remember that there are so many disadvantaged people here, so many communities which are neglected. So they are there. So city is for all. And it requires that we must try to keep a balance within the city so that everybody gets benefit out of this highest thing which has happened to the human culture. And this is basically the today's theme of the World Tourism Day, access for all. But the access of all doesn't come automatically. You have to have understanding that you have to create a barrier-free environment and accessibility for this segment. So you see, this is a huge number of population which is disabled. 650 million people are registered as disabled. There is, of course, under-reporting, but at least this much amount of people falls into that category. And then out of these, 80% of them are living in the developing countries. The people the nations who are still trying to catch up to the development, to catch up to the level where the other countries are. And this is a truth that all these disabled people are facing marginalization. They're facing trouble. They have difficulties within the society. Here in Pakistan, there was this wonderful book about the disabled population. And it gives us the figures of the disabled people within Pakistan. Now, you see, with us, it is very difficult to go ahead with the real assessment of situation because we have not done the census since last 2 decades, more than that. So here is the population figures with us, which gives us that 1961 Pakistan was 4 crore 28 lakh, 73 6 crore, 81 8 crore. Up 17 crore, 20 crore, 18 crore, whatever. We are this much here. And disabled population with us is, look, the last figure is 3,72,000. If we assume that we have grown to the 20 crore level now, तो ये जो 3 लाख हैं अब 10 लाख पे चले गए. But mind you, the 1981 census was not quite elaborate to take account of certain disabilities. Because at that time, the perception of disability within our society was really excluding a large chunk of population. For us, the blindness was the disability. For us, somebody who couldn't walk straight was not at all a disabled person. Until and unless he sits on the chair. So the census which is with us is not really giving us the right figures. So we fear that the population of disabled is still larger within this country than we actually realize. And House Economic and Demographic Survey of 1973 gives us that 20 persons out of every 1,000 are disabled. And for us, the disabilities were blindness, deaf and dumb, crippled, mentally retarded, insane, and others. Now this is the great work done by Turism sahab. But you see, what is the disability and what is the excess? This photograph gives us the real dilemma. It tells us that whenever we are looking at the normal buildings, moving around, is this wheelchair going to climb up these staircases? What should one do with this sort of a disability when the society is oblivious of those two people? It's not appreciating what is happening to the people around it. Acropolis is one of the most famous places on earth, like Mohenjo-daro. Acropolis has many levels. It is not on the flat ground, like Mohenjo-daro. The people want to see it. It is the most recognized building in the world. And everybody feels like going atop the hills. What will happen? The access has been provided there. It has the wheelchair stair climber lift. The person with the wheelchair can possibly move and reach atop. It has an elevator also. So you see that anybody who reaches atop has a memorable experience. So every disabled, disadvantaged person has the right to access that monument. So is the Mohenjo-daro. But are we giving them like this? Are we have something made the arrangement to take them atop Mohenjo-daro? No. Have we created certain lift there? No. What is the transportation mode to the Mohenjo-daro? Do we have the trains which can carry the wheelchair person? No. So you see, something is happening to us. Edinburgh, everybody wants to go atop the castle. But what happens? They have the access. Even Edinburgh has the hotels which are for disabled. They have the vehicles. with a ramp, so that wheelchair can just possibly be easily go. Istanbul, yes, have catered for the so many disabled people. Alignment, it has the highest rating as far as the access is concerned, because they have all accounts, taken care of things, and all their plannings, they have not forgotten this aspect that there has to have an access made available for the person who is at the disadvantage. So how it has happened? Every taxi in London has the wheelchair ramp. Almost all of the buses have the ramp. And considerable number of metro stations do have the elevators to carry people up and down. So the underground takes there. And also there is a law which provides that every public building has to take care of these special things. So they have been rated as the world's top most destinations where a disabled person can go and visit. Have we done here? Are our engineering and architectural standards and morals do support this idea? I am afraid no. You see, here is the statement made by one of the highest standing humanists, which says that progress in social welfare of the society can be gauged from how well physically and mentally disabled individuals are being put to productive relations. So it is something, this is the statement for today. This is where we are celebrating today, the day for the disabled, so that we can address the issues and we can come up with the access for the disabled. What happens is, the theme was given, the year has almost passed. This is the 9th month of the year. What we have done with this? I only have one good example coming from Pakistan. And I am really thankful to Dr. Asma Ibrahim. She has published the museum guidebook in Braille for the blind people. How many of our museums have done this? We are still denying them, the people, to have the wheelchairs and come. I was looking at the showcases in the State Bank Museum and their heights, and I come to realize that these are especially designed for wheelchair. So if anybody who is moving around on the wheelchair can still easily cherish the beauty of the museum objects. So this is the sensibility which demands that all of us should actually put into practice the standards which have been given to us by the modern society. It is something which is correlating our heart to our work. We should realize that we are human beings and all co-human beings are not as fortunate as we are. This is our duty, that we should install this understanding into our actions now. This is the theme of today's World Tourism Day, and then we come to realize that how many of our doors welcome the wheelchair? Have we realized? Have we ever considered this issue? What could possibly be the dimension a wheelchair person could be actually requiring if he's moving around? So the people have worked it. So it is not something jet science to think about it. So now we have the recommendations about it within the architectural world. It has to be implemented within the planning. So our P&D department must make it a binding factor on every project which comes and passes through their corridors, to implement this thing that no, every new building will be taking care of the ramps, should be accessible to the handicapped population. And then how many of the buildings which are really require the alteration? So this realization has to be there within the administration, and then we can then proudly say that yes, this premises is wheelchair able, and then this assistance is available here. We can realize the hopelessness within the population which is traveling on the wheelchair if they come across a staircase. How to cope up with that? You see, the people have designed things, these are in operation, the world is doing it, and it is happening all around us. They have the access to the yachts, they can even go to the lounges, and there are arrangements, and these are being practiced. It is not a new thing. But for us, this is the present situation where we have this sign coming up. Now there are another population which is handicapped because they can't hear, they can't speak. We have not popularized the sign language. I do remember most of the countries do have the television programs, and they have this window, smaller window with the sign language. So they are actually pulling this population, which is otherwise cut off with them, to come into the mainstream. And they are inclusive societies. And these societies are doing wonderfully well. So this is the appeal always, whenever you are in the civilized part of the globe, you find that even the parking is reserved for the population which are handicapped. And every other activity is inclusive, and they can possibly go and join the mainstream activities and be part of it. But for us, even heavens have these stairs. There's no ramp there. This is what is required, that we should be actually looking into various disabilities and then trying to provide things for them. How many restaurants do we have that people can easily move with the wheelchairs? The businesses, they are earning from us, but are they conscious about it? Are they sensitized enough to welcome those people who are on the wheelchair? The historic monuments, and they have created the ramps historically, not distorting the position, not putting in some metallic thing. They are promoting the sports for the disabled. And you see the Paralympics are happening, which is all the time, the cricket for blind, it's happening, they are doing it. So it is a possibility, and we have to. Thank God we are into the cricket at least. So we should be also promoting the other games. And then it will be inclusive activity. So we can possibly start thinking now and make it part of our future plans. So within Pakistan, all the departments within our Sindh government, the Works and Services Department, the Planning Department, and the Sports Department, the Tourism Department itself should start making things welcome for these people. And as I already told you that the blind are the majority among those people. Do you think they cannot think? They can think, of course, and they can study, and they are doing it. And they are able to walk around. Are we helping them? They need to travel, they need to move around. So what should happen? There is tectonic help which is available for them. They can feel and they can find their way without any assistance. So this has been the reality today. Blind can find their way through this tectonic help. They can move around easily, they can know that which type of facility is there. But we need to put these assistance aspects into the action. We should have these plannings made, our footpaths, our roads, our railway stations, bus stops. At least should have some sort of activity supporting the whole system so that the disabled should be lesser disabled. The disadvantage should be the lesser disadvantages. How many cinemas, how many theatres, musical performances we can carry our wheelchair person there. Nothing wrong if we can provide these for, the space for them. So this is the theme which we have discussed. And I do understand that wherever there are planning aspects, one must remember that there are obstructions. So if these are to be lessened, signage should be there. Street furniture is for the blind, I was already indicating, you saw the photos. Pathways for the wheelchair. Curb ramps. The similar thing because you are to move up to the footpath. Pedestrian crossings. Parking. So these are the consideration a city must have. So this is something we require from the city planners, that they should understand, and whatever activity they are carrying on, they should cater for this. Now look, for the architectural considerations, so many architects are planning, so many buildings are coming up. If we happen to visit something and inspect, I am sure we are not finding these things incorporated within the designs. So this is some sort of a short-sightedness on the part of the whole society. It is the indifference of the people who are in the advantage of dictating decisions. So the people who are in a position to, they should understand that these architectural aspects should be taken care of and the urban planning should include. And I would say that whenever you ask they are doing anything, if they are writing anything, if they are creating anything, they are making plans, they should remember that there are people disabled. Thank you very much.